Our season might be Bronc over if we don't figure something out. We've lost 4 of our last 5 games, and it's not going to get much easier. On the road, facing off against Jalen Milroe and the red-hot New York Jets, and then we return home to face off against our division rival, the currently first-place Los Angeles Chargers. I was originally planning on doing 3 games today, but after scheduling out what the rest of the season could look like, I decided to switch it to 2 instead, partly to sort of display how important these 2 games are, because we've got a lot of work to do. Currently the number 10 seed in the AFC. Things have fallen apart rather quickly for us. At one point in the year, we were 4-1, playing some great football, best defense in the NFL, but the mighty have fallen and have done so quickly. With the exception of a come-from-behind win in Arrowhead against the Chiefs, we've really been struggling, including a pair of losses in the last episode to the Bills and the Rams. Now, I will say, the Bills and the Rams have probably been the 2 best teams in the NFL this year, but that's no excuse. In order to be amongst the best teams in the NFL, you have to beat the best teams in the league. Prior to those 2 games, we had the NFL trade deadline. We made a pair of moves, trading away Jonah Ellis and a future 4th to acquire Cooper Kupp and B.J. Ojulari. Other moves around the league include Fred Warner to Buffalo, Brian Branch to Atlanta, Jair Alexander to the Rams, Kyle Hamilton to the Cowboys, and George Karlaftis to the Philadelphia Eagles. Getting Cooper Kupp is certainly an interesting addition for us because he is a little bit older. This is truly a 1-year rental. He's on an expiring contract and is regressing quickly. But I think it makes sense for both sides. The Rams are really good at receiver right now. They extended Courtland Sutton after getting him at the deadline last year. They used a top 10 pick on Noah Thomas, who's been really good. Kupp has really only played this year because of injuries to Courtland Sutton. Once Sutton was back, there wasn't really going to be a spot for him. So Kupp has slid in here. He's done a pretty good job, I think, despite the fact that we lost these 2 games. And he gives us another guy to pair with Marvin Mims, along with the other guys in the room, including Tez Johnson, who's been banged up pretty much all year, but he is back healthy. We also added B.J. Ojulari, a guy who Coach Bonnet is familiar with. He does not have a sack yet this year, but we're hoping that can change today against the Jets and the Chargers, 2 more really solid teams. We'll start with the Jets. They're currently the number 1 wild card in the AFC at 6-4. So if we beat them, that would really go a long way in terms of our wild card hopes. It puts us back above 500, and we would have the tiebreaker over a team who we have a really good chance of finishing pretty much equal to in the standings with. And then that Chargers game is really our last hope in terms of any realistic shot of winning the AFC West. So we'll start with the Jets, who obviously have not been good over the first couple of years at this series, and we will forever be linked to the Jets because we were the team who helped them trade up for Jalen Milroe. The Jets have been playing some great football as of recent. They just beat the Dolphins 40-3. It's been a real turning point for them this year, and that's been because of the play of their young quarterback. Jalen Milroe did not have a good rookie year, and it looked like we had completely fleeced them in that trade. And while I would still consider the Broncos winners, the New York Jets are happy how it's gone too, because Jalen Milroe has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. 22 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, completing 68% of his passes. Of course, they've got a good group of weapons around him with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Michael Pittman, Malachi Corley, and the former Kansas Jayhawk Joseph Manjack. The rookie R.J. Maryland, a day 3 pick at tight end, has also stood out. He's the current frontrunner for the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, despite being a 5th rounder. But he will not go today. He got injured last week. Defensively, this team has a lot of talent as well. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, DJ Reed among them. Now, they are a little bit banged up. As we mentioned, R.J. Maryland is out, so loses the starting left tackle, Olu Fashanu. That's going to be a big loss for them. Nick Benito, who had 4 sacks a week ago against the Rams, has a chance to really perform in this game. So we'll see who can take the win here at MetLife. 2 teams who obviously made that huge trade a couple of years ago. The Jets trading 2 firsts and a second for Jalen Milroe, and those picks becoming Mykel Williams, Marvin Grant, and Colin Wright. Some stalwarts for us on the defensive side of the ball as they get a quick start. That's a first down reception. Quick tackle by Jeffrey Bassa, who's had a fantastic second season. This one is hauled in. Nice play after the catch, and that one goes for another first down. Michael Pittman Jr., who the Jets traded for last year, he's been a really solid compliment for Garrett Wilson. Play action. Milroe has an open man. It's the tight end, Gerald Everett, who lays out to make the play, and so far Jalen Milroe has been really efficient moving the ball down the field here on the opening possession. Our defense has played really poorly over the last month. We've got to get it together, and that starts in this game as Drew Sanders is in the backfield off the blitz. We got to send pressure. That was our identity last year and early this year, as it's now a 3rd and 14. Milroe has a wide open man. Malachi Corley inside the 5 to the 2. How is that area of the field not covered? We cannot let them convert on 3rd and nearly 15. Now they have it at the 2. 2nd and goal. Pitch to the outside. Breece Hall breaks the tackle. He is in for the score. A really good opening possession here for the Jets. And in what's our most important game of the regular season, that was not a particularly good start. So we're looking to rebound here on this next possession. 3rd and 4. Nix misfires for Cooper Kupp. He was open. But some miscommunication between the talented young quarterback and the veteran receiver. Jets back with it. 3rd and 3. Jalen Milroe looks to throw it, and he goes short. It's caught for a first down by Gerald Everett, who's gotten off to a really good start in this game. R.J. Maryland's been fantastic this year, but they haven't so far missed a beat with Everett in the game. 3rd and 7 now. Milroe looks to throw it. The Jets have been good on 3rd down today, as Pittman will not get it. Big tackle by Jeffrey Bassa. Chris Abrams' drain was there with the initial contact, and the Jets are going to go for it here on 4th and inches. Gutsy call. They go to the fullback, and it does not work. Who else but Big 51? Jeffrey Bassa brings him down for a loss of 2. Denver finally with a positive play. We get the stop defensively, and this feels like a pivotal drive for the offense. I know it's early in the game. We got to get something going. The problem is that it's a 3rd and 26 with 2 holding calls. We're just going to run a screen here. We recognize we're probably not getting 30 yards as Ashton Jeanty gains 10. So the Jets get the stop. They'll get it back, and the missed 4th down proves to not be that big of a deal. 3rd and inches at the 40. Milroe looks to throw it. That one is caught, and it will go for a first down, hauled in by Malachi Corley. Jalen Milroe was really efficient on 3rd downs throughout this quarter. We've got to do a better job in coverage. And through one, in our most important game of the year, we are not looking too good. The defense has struggled. Jalen Milroe is having his way with our secondary. The offense has gotten nothing going. I don't think we have a first down on that side of the ball yet. We haven't gotten anything from the ground game. We haven't gotten anything from Bo Nix. So we're hoping something will give here in the second quarter. As on 2nd and 3, it's Breece Hall to the outside. Gets by Benito into the second level. And he's wrapped up at the 18-yard line by Riley Moss as Michael Williams is hurt on the play. And to make matters worse, earlier in the drive, Baron Browning also got injured. That's 2 of our most important defensive linemen who will not return to the game. At the 18, Milroe strikes it for Corley, breaks a tackle, and he is in the end zone for a touchdown. Malachi Corley with the score, the former Western Kentucky Hilltopper. And the New York Jets in a very important regular season game for them as well. They lead 14-0. Got to get something here on offense. 3rd and 9. Nix has a clean pocket up the middle for Marvin Mims, who gets the first down past the 45. As Marvin Mims is now injured, it's going to be a bruised sternum for Mims, and his day is done. I was really hoping Mims would pass the 1,000-yard threshold in this game, but it looks like we're going to have to wait a week. Won't be a long-term injury. We'll see him in next week's game against the Chargers. But he will be out today, which is obviously a big loss. As Nix misfires for Jonnu Smith on 3rd and 4. That's pretty inexcusable. Jonnu Smith was wide open, and Bo Nix blatantly missed the throw. Jets get it back. Their defense has been phenomenal as Milroe is sacked. Chris Abrams, Drain, and Drew Sanders are the ones who bring him home. We've been successful blitzing today. We haven't sent much pressure otherwise, so that's going to have to be better, as on 3rd and 16, the screen does not work at all. Corley is unable to hang on. That was B.J. Ojolari with the hit. Denver gets it back. Will this be the drive we get something going offensively? That's not a promising start. Jeanty loses 2, wrapped up by Jermaine Johnson. It's been an up and down second year for Ashton Jeanty, but that play certainly was not his fault. 3rd and 12, Nick steps up in the pocket, looks to outrun Quentin Williams, and he will get the first down. When Bo Nix is scrambling around, generally good things happen for this offense, and we're finally starting to get something down the field. Past the 50 for the first time, up the middle, this is Troy Franklin, and he gets it for around 19 yards. This is a huge drive, but we've got to end with a touchdown, make it a one-score game. Remember, we do start on offense in the second half, so if we score here, then we can really put ourselves in a good spot to come back. But we got to convert this 3rd and 11. It's Troy Franklin with space, and Franklin is in! Denver cuts it within one possession. Troy Franklin had not found the end zone until last week, but that's now back-to-back games with touchdowns. A really good drive, playing against the clock a little bit at times, but we finally get on the board. Jets still have a minute, though. From the 25, Milroe, clean pocket. He gets it to Everett, who brings it to the 48. Jalen Milroe continuing to produce. Our defensive line has been non-existent. Outside of Drew Sanders' blitzes, Jalen Milroe has had all day to throw the ball. 2nd and 2, short pass is caught. Garrett Wilson, he's been quiet, but he gets it to the 39. Obviously, Wilson is the go-to guy on this offense, but he is being covered by the great Patrick Surtain. Following play, Milroe scrambles around with it. He's going to look to run, and he will slide for a gain of 8. Jalen Milroe's dangerous on the ground, as we know, as the Jets are going to call a timeout here at the 31. That is their final. Now, interestingly, they're going to keep the offense out on the field here with around 15 seconds left and run another play. They have to manage this smartly, make sure they're not tackled in the field of play. Milroe could have completed the pass there, but he's going to throw it away instead, ensure that the clock stops, and this is where they're going to bring out the field goal team. Coach Bonnett's going to call a timeout to look to ice the kicker, roughly from around 48 yards out, to try to make it a 2-score lead at the end of the second quarter. Kick on the way in the rain, and that one is good. 17-7, the Jets lead going into half. Overall, I think we looked quite bad. For this being our most important game of the year, we haven't really shown up. But, game's not over. We're only down by 10. We do start with the ball in the second half. If we score on that opening drive, we're right back in the game. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the NFL. We'll start in South Beach. These Dolphins just lost by 37 a week ago to the New York Jets, and they realize they've got to get back on the win column. The problem is they're facing off against Buffalo, who is the best record right now in the NFL. We got to see these guys firsthand in the last episode, and currently it is the Bills who are winning a competitive one, 21-14. Josh Allen, the MVP frontrunner, doing his thing with 2 scores. Tua Tagovailoa was picked off 4 times a week ago against the Jets. He's looking a lot better here. In Foxborough, the Packers and Patriots, 2 teams firmly in the wild card race in their respective conferences. It is Green Bay who leads at 20-7. And on one hand, being that we are a team competing for a wild card spot, New England losing is certainly a good thing. But I'm never going to encourage you guys to root for the Packers because, well, I just physically cannot do that. But it would benefit us if the Packers won the game. And then finally in Dallas, maybe the 2 best teams in the NFC right now, a possible NFC Championship preview. It's been a really good game, as expected. 2 fantastic offenses really showing out. Puka Nacua already has over 100 yards as the Rams lead 21-14. Now, I will say the Rams only scored 21 points in all of last week against us. Our defense has not played well during this losing skid, but we did play pretty well against the Rams despite the loss. So as we move into the second half, we've got some work to do. We certainly don't want to drop under 500 and continue to dig ourselves a hole that's already pretty deep, being back at 500. We got to establish the ground game, but since we're playing from behind, we need more consistency through the air. We just had a really good drive at the end of the half from Bo Nix, but he's missed a handful of throws today, and it certainly doesn't help us that our best offensive player, Marvin Mims, will not play in the second half. Defensively, we've got to find a way to stop Jalen Milroe. He's been carving us up, especially in the intermediate game. So the offense returns. Bo Nix, 3rd in the NFL in passing yards. Granted, I think that's largely because we haven't had our bye yet. 3rd and 10 for the 45. We're going to go short for Jonnu Smith. The thought process there is let's get closer to the first down marker and go for it. Here on 4th and 5, a gutsy play call, but sometimes you got to show off the nuts a little bit. Nix in shotgun with Ashton Genty, takes his time, looks to throw it, goes short. Tez Johnson will barely get the first down. That was a close call, but we do convert, keeping the chains moving. 5.5 minutes to go in the third. Another really strong drive. Nix on the slant, has Tez Johnson open, and he is gone. Outruns Malachi Moore, in for a touchdown. And despite the fact that our Denver Broncos have not played a good game really at all today, We're only down by 3. We are right back in the ballgame. Another strong drive by Bo Nix and company. Tez Johnson with a couple of big plays. Good to have him back as it's a 1st and 10 for the 26. Milroe goes short. Michael Pittman gets by Surtain, and he gets the first down to the 42-yard line. Milroe now over 200 yards on the day, and he's done so while completing over 70% of his passes. At the 45, he's intercepted! Patrick Surtain picks it off, and Denver can really see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Patrick Surtain with his 4th interception of the year. That is tied for the lead in the NFL. And all of a sudden, we are not only back in this game, but we really had the momentum right now. Milroe overthrows Garrett Wilson, and Surtain makes the play as Genty loses 2. It continues to be a rough one for him. Hassan Reddick brings him down. It's now a 3rd and 12. Nix looks to throw it. He'll go short, and Kupp drops it. It wasn't a great throw. It was certainly behind him and really would have prevented any chance that Cooper Kupp could have gotten the first down. But he's also got to catch the ball. That's on both the quarterback and the receiver. And it looks like we're not going to really do anything off the turnover, unfortunately. Following a nice first down, it's 3rd and 1. Breece Hall will barely get it. That was a close call. Good tackle by Patrick Surtain. But Hall does convert, and that'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. Overall, hard to complain with how that quarter went. We're only down by 3, even though, again, I think we're playing worse than the score suggests. We're still in the game, but we need some big stops defensively. Started slow on the defensive side of the ball, but I think we've done better despite the fact that we still have not sent any pressure. Breece Hall has blocks. Looks to get by Grant. Inside the 5, tackled in the end zone for a touchdown. And the New York Jets, after being held off the board in the 3rd, score on the very first play of the 4th. 10-point lead. 2nd and 8. Screen for Zamir White. He'll get the first down, and he will make it to the sidelines at the 42. I know the offensive line for us has been a weak point this year, and we haven't run blocked well at all, but I've got to give the pass protection credit. Bo Nix hasn't been sacked once today. There's a nice move by Genty to the 38. When we get Ashton Genty in space, he's a really good player. The problem is we haven't been able to do so today because the Jets are collapsing the edges, defending the run. Nix on 3rd and 10 misfires for Johnson. He had some separation off of the All-Pro Sauce Gardner. As we're going to kick here on 4th down, 55-yarder for Will Lutz. Missed the game winner from a similar distance a week ago as it is no good. This time, it had the distance, but it wasn't accurate. The opposite of his kick a week ago against the Rams, where it was on the money, but it was short. So it remains a 10-point game. That is a huge miss. And now the Jets are firmly in control, up by double digits, with possession of the ball. And now it's about managing the clock. Milroe goes short for Hall, and he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Jeffrey Bassa. On a day where there have not been many positives for us, our linebacking duo of Drew Sanders and Jeffrey Bassa continues to play some excellent football. 2nd and 11, Hall up the middle, gets the first down. Breece Hall has not gotten the ball that often today, only 10 carries, but he's been really efficient. 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now at the 43, Jets are moving it well. They're chewing some clock as Milroe looks to throw it up the middle. Here is Garrett Wilson, breaks the tackle inside the 25. One of the top young receivers in the league with a big gain, bringing the Jets into field goal range. If there's any slim chance of us coming back, we have to hold them out of the end zone, keep it a 2-score game. With Gerald Everett in motion, Milroe looks to throw it. He will connect. This is Tyler Conklin, the other tight end, who magically has superstar development as he brings it to the 12. And the Jets are getting closer and closer to that end zone and closer to making it a 3-score game. Milroe is sacked, though, off the blitz by Chris Abrams-Drain. Not a lot of pressure from either side being sent in this game. The Jets have 0 sacks, and our 3 sacks have all come off of blitzes by Sanders or Abrams-Drain. 2nd and 17, on the run, it's Everett, and he's in for a touchdown. So the sack proves to really not matter. Milroe on the run with a great throw for Gerald Everett, and it is not looking good. Down by 17 points. We have to move fast offensively, as here is Tez Johnson. He gets it to around the 50. We've got to go no huddle. There is not time to waste. Screen for Zamir White. Gets the first down. Tries to get out of bounds, but he cannot get tackled by DJ Reed. Now a 3rd and 10 here from the 39-yard line. Nix looks to throw it. He will look wide open. It's Chris Brazzell, the rookie. Juke move inside the 10 to the 4. Probably should have gone out of bounds instead of getting the extra 5 yards, but at least we're closer, I guess. 2nd and goal. Nix. End zone. Touchdown! That one is hauled in by Christian Horn, his 3rd score of the year. Bo Nix with 3 passing touchdowns today, and it's 31-21. Step 2 of this miraculous 100-part step comeback is to connect on the onside kick. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen as it's recovered by our good friend Joseph Manjack IV. The former Kansas Jayhawk did not play quite as well as his Kansas counterpart Moody Rubin, who scored 2 touchdowns against us earlier in the year with the Seahawks. The Jets don't convert that 3rd down, and Elijah Vera-Tucker is hurt, which stops the clock. So that'll bring out the field goal unit. Overall, a good drive for us defensively. There's still 2 minutes and 48 seconds left. We still have a timeout in our back pocket if we need it, but down by 13. We are hanging on the tree branch for dear life. Nix scrambles with it, goes short. It's caught by Tez Johnson. The Jets are actually going to challenge whether or not he was in bounds. This kind of feels like a waste to me. I get they would rather it be a 3rd and 10, but why risk losing one of your timeouts for 7 yards? Can't really say I agree with this one, and that is a close call. But as we can see, 1, 2, he's in. This play will stand. The Jets are going to lose their timeout as it's now a 3rd and 3 at the 37. Nix looks to throw it, of course. He's under a little pressure, and he misfires. There was some contact. No flag. I feel like there could have been an illegal contact somewhere on the Jets, but it's not going to happen. 4th and 3. Short throw is caught by Kupp. We could have looked for the sidelines. We could have looked deep. But instead, I figured, let's get the conversion now and worry about the rest later. After clocking it on 1st down at 2nd and 10, wide open near the sidelines is Troy Franklin. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning here in the 4th quarter. Not looking good for the Broncos, down by 13 points. 3rd and 7. Nix's pass is incomplete. He had Tez Johnson open. I'm a little surprised he looked outside. I guess he wanted to get into the sidelines. And that'll make it a 4th and 7 game on the line. Nix looks to throw it. Scrambles around. Under pressure. On the run. Broken up. And that will do it. The ice-cold Denver Broncos continue to dig their grave even deeper. We dropped this game to the Jets 34-21. We're now 5 and 6. We're multiple games out of a playoff spot and have lost 5 of our last 6 games. We just have not been playing good football right now, and it feels like the complete inverse of last year where we were playing really poorly through the first 7 games and then miraculously figured it out. This year it's been the opposite. Jalen Milroe was phenomenal. We could not stop him. Bo Nix threw for 3 touchdowns, but he also only completed 55% of his passes. On one hand, we played hero ball at the end. He had to have thrown at least 20 passes in the 4th quarter alone. But he also had some bad misses today, and it's not like he was under that much pressure. The pass protection had their best game of the year. He wasn't sacked once. The run game, though, they were a lot better than us. Obviously, they were better than us through the air as well, and their offensive line did a fantastic job. Even with starters out, the backup left tackle did a really good job. Nick Benito was non-existent. The other defensive linemen didn't play well, or at least the ones who were healthy. Drew Sanders, Chris Abrams-Drain, and Jeffrey Bassa all played really well. Abrams-Drain and Sanders each had a sack and a half off of design blitzes. Clearly, we got to blitz more because that really worked today. But otherwise, sending actual pressure was really hard. So Jeffrey Bassa, I noticed, has 3 skill points. I wasn't really sure how this happened, but it turns out he got them because he's hit the 100 tackle threshold. It's basically as if he won the stud of the year early in the season, which is ironic because he's got a really good chance to be nominated for the award. Bassa, the first player in the NFL with 100 tackles. Now, we do lose multiple key pieces defensively. Baron Browning, upper arm fracture. Michael Williams, torn labrum. Williams will miss the next 3 games. Keep in mind, we do have our bye week coming up. Williams has not taken the leap we had hoped for this year, but still a good player. And then Baron Browning has been the most important player on the defensive line. I know Nick Benito has better numbers, but our defense has been night and day, especially the pass rush, with Baron Browning in there. And in the 2 games he's been hurt this year, our pass rush has been really bad, so I'm worried about what it's going to look like these next couple of games. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Barrett Carter, and Devin Bush win the Players of the Week. I was going through some stats, and I noticed how big the difference is in terms of first and second place in tackles. After Jeffrey Bossa, it's Fred Warner and Roquan Smith, the two best off-ball linebackers in the NFL, and Bossa's got them both beat. Again, partly because we haven't had our bye week, but still. That brings us to this game against the Chargers, who are obviously a really good team, 7-3. They beat us earlier in the year. And it's crazy how far we've fallen. We are now the 12th seed in the NFL. When we were 4-1, we had the number 2 scoring defense in the league. 6 games later, we had the 25th scoring defense, but it could be worse. At least we're not the Arizona Cardinals. Anyway, let's look at the Chargers, who have been playing some really solid football. They beat us earlier in the year in what ended up being a close game. Since then, they lost to New England, and they blew out the Raiders. I look back at this Chargers game as the turning point of the season. Those last 5 minutes was one of the wackiest endings I've ever seen, and since then, we haven't recovered. This is the game that started our 4-game losing streak, and as I just said, I feel like that was the turning point for us, and it's been a downward spiral ever since then, and we need this game to be another turning point in our season, but for the opposite reasons. Now, we know this team really well. Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. We struggled to send pressure against the Jets last week, and now we have to deal with the top offensive tackle tandem in the league. The Chargers have a good defense as well. Greg Newsome, who was injured the first time these two teams played, is healthy. And we also have to watch out for Junior Colson, who's become one of the best off-ball linebackers in the NFL. Colson was a game wrecker the first time we saw these guys. He had 16 tackles, multiple for a loss, and a sack. Him and Dan Henley are one of the better linebacking duos in the NFL. And Colson, like Jeffrey Bossa, has transformed his team's defense. 3rd and 8, Nick's under pressure, and he's got Marvin Mims. Jukes away from Derwin James. Gets into the 44. A nice gain of 23 as Mims is, give or take, probably 35 yards away from 1,000. He's been close in each of the first 2 seasons of the series and looks to finally get it done today. Tez Johnson with it. Nice play to the 25, and we're moving the ball pretty well to get things started. But now it's a 3rd and 11. We have not started games off well recent. We know we want to start this drive off with a touchdown, and that's not going to happen. The rookie out of Florida State, Patrick Payton, is in with the sack. Did he just punch Bo Nix? That's a 15-yard penalty, at the very least. Another Andrew Thomas disaster class as Will Lutz makes the kick from 42. So a good drive, getting into the red zone, but we only finish off with 3. Chargers have it. Our defense has to wake up today. It has been trouble over these last few weeks. We've played against some good offenses, but as a good team, you're playing against really good teams consistently. A big start for Ladd McConkey as he brings it to the 44. And the Chargers are moving it quite well to start this game. 3rd and 2 at the 25-yard line. Herbert will look to throw it, goes short. It's caught for a first down inside the 15 by Canada's finest, Joshua Palmer. This is not the start we needed. Herbert is attacking our soft zones as he has been really efficient so far. Only 1 incompletion, 5 of 6, make it 6 for 7 as he connects for a score with Ladd McConkey. The Chargers march down the field in the end zone, and our struggles defensively continue. We sent no pressure. The coverage was not good. Not ideal. 2nd and 1, RPO here for Zamir White. Keeps it on the run, gets the first down, and he gets it to the 47. If you're looking for a positive from this game, our rushing attack, which has been inconsistent this year, has looked pretty good here in the early going. Genty gets it on 3rd and 1 with space to the left side. Rams through Alohi Gilman. 8 carries, 55 yards. Where has this guy been? Genty's 55 yards is more than he's gotten in like half of our games this year. 7-3 through 1, both offenses looking good. Our defense does not look much improved from last week, but I like what I'm seeing from the offense. This drive, we're running it down their throats. Bo Nix has not thrown the ball once on this drive. It has been the Ashton Genty show, and it is working. Bounces off a blocker. Stiff arms the defender to the 17. Ashton Genty has been unbelievable in this game. 9 carries for 70 yards for the second-year standout. 2nd and 11. Genty goes backwards this time. Dan Henley brings him down, and we might actually have to throw the ball here. We still have not passed it once, as it's now a 3rd and 13. Bo will quickly fire for Tez Johnson. He gets 11. And that'll make it a 4th and 2. And with how well we're running the ball today, why not? I feel like given where we are in our season, we've got to be a little gutsy. Genty up the middle, fumbles it, and it's scooped up by the Chargers. He would have not gotten the first down anyway, so fumbling honestly was not the worst idea, hoping one of the offensive linemen scoops it up or something. It doesn't work though. Dayan Henley led the way. He was the one who picked up the ball as well, and the Chargers hold Denver off the board there as it remains 7-3. Herbert play action on the run. He gets it to Amari Cooper. That might be the worst footwork I've ever seen. How does Patrick Surtain end up on the sidelines as Amari Cooper catches that pass? Yikes. 3rd and 10 at the 46. Herbert will go short. It's caught, but not enough for a first down. Good tackle by Chris Abrams-Drain as it's only a gain of 3 for Josh Palmer. Broncos back with it. Low-scoring game, even though both offenses are moving it well. It's just been sort of slow-paced. Bo Nix on first down. Flag on the play as he is sacked by Marley Cook for a loss of around 7 or 8. And I don't think the holding is really going to impact that much in terms of yards. So the Chargers figure they might as well decline the penalty and take the down along with the sack by Cook. Now it's a 3rd and 19. We haven't gotten much through the air today, partly because we really haven't tried to throw it. The run game's been effective. Nix looks to throw it, launches it deep. Tez Johnson is open, and it's overthrown. Tez Johnson had a step or two on Ricardo Hallman. That's a touchdown if Bo Nix makes the throw, but he put a little too much on it. So that'll lead to a punt. Chargers back with it. 3rd down and 5 at the 38. We've got movement, and I think that's going to be on the defense. Unacceptable. We cannot be handing them first downs like that for free. B.J. Ojolari is the one with the flag. We continue to keep finding creative ways to shoot ourselves in the foot. 2nd and 2 at the 25, nearing the 2-minute warning. Bryson Nesbitt, the former first-round tight end, in motion. Here's Herbert on the run. Opposite side of the field. Jeffrey Bossa fell asleep in coverage there as he gets it to around the 1. That's Ramondre Stevenson. A rare Jeffrey Bossa disaster class. Bossa was going to the right because it looked like Herbert was going to roll out and run. Stevenson on the very next play walks it in for a score, and the Chargers add to the lead. It's now 14-3. We've got to get some points here on this drive. We cannot go into the second half down by multiple possessions. Unlike the Jets game, we don't start with the ball. 3rd and 5, short throw. Genty will get the first down. He was definitely not the read there. We were looking to stretch the field a little bit, but nobody was open. See him in the flat and figure, might as well. Alohi Gilman hurt on the play. Chargers have to call a timeout. From the 40, 3rd and 10, here's Johnson. Outruns the defender. Tez Johnson gets by another and is all the way to the 16. Huge play after the catch by Tez Johnson, showing off his speed, and we are going to call a timeout there. I think we can use the clock to our advantage, but I didn't want to go no huddle and have 30 seconds left. Genty up the middle, gets the first down, and now this is where we can really make the clock our friend and let some of it run. We do not want the Chargers to have much time with it before half. 2nd and goal, Genty is close, and we are going to use our last timeout. So that'll make it a 3rd and goal, and we have to be strategic here. We cannot be tackled inside of the field of play here. We've got to give ourselves 2 chances to punch it in. So because of that, we're going to throw the ball. Nix has to get it out quickly or roll out in space, and he's got plenty of it. Bo Nix waltzes in for a touchdown, and the Denver Broncos make it a 1-score game. A big drive to end the first half to bring the lead within 4. We've still got work to do, but we needed that possession to put ourselves back into the game. 14-10, much needed drive from the offense, and I think actually defensively we're showing some good things, and I think schematically I may have figured something out that's going to fix things for us defensively. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment, but we'll start with our halftime show. Thursday Night Football on Thanksgiving, Chiefs and the Rams. Kansas City did not start the year off that well. Remember, they were 3-4 when they lost to us at Arrowhead, but since then, in typical Chiefs fashion, they figured it out. They beat the Rams, something not many teams have been able to do, 35-24. Kansas City winners of 4 in a row. They have not lost since the game in Arrowhead against the Broncos, which is ironic because we haven't won since then. In Seattle, the 49ers currently taking care of business. It's been a rough year for San Francisco, but they do lead this game currently by the score of 14-3. Two teams who we already played against this year. We've already played against everybody in the NFC West, going 2-2, losing to Seattle and the Rams, beating the Niners and the lowly Arizona Cardinals, which is how that division has gone this year. It is currently a two-horse race with the Rams and Seattle. In Baltimore, the Ravens at 5-5, trying to keep their Super Bowl hopes alive without Lamar Jackson at quarterback, injured for the rest of the year. Riley Leonard is the one running the show, and so far he's having a pretty good game here. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling into the end zone for a touchdown. They lead at 14-7. Now, the Saints are not the best team in the world, but still a really solid showing so far from the second-year quarterback out of Notre Dame. And if the Ravens have any chance of potentially getting into the playoffs, making a run, and hoping Lamar Jackson comes back, they cannot afford to lose to the 2-8 New Orleans Saints. So as we go into the second half, I actually feel like we're not in that bad of a spot. We've really got something good going with the run game, and then defensively, I've really changed up the play calling. We are a predominantly zone team, and I think that's part of the reason why we've really struggled in coverage recently. So since the first drive, we've been running primarily man coverage, and I think it's working. I'm going to send a lot more blitzes as well. Now that leaves the deep and over-the-top part of the field a lot more vulnerable, but you got to give in order to take. 2nd and 4, Herbert keeps it on the read option, and he loses 3. Cameron Hayward brings him down, and unfortunately for the Chargers, Justin Herbert tore his abdominal on that play, so obviously his day is over. Seth Hennigan is in at quarterback. First play of the game, wide open, is R.J. Harvey, who takes it 71 yards to the crib. I don't think I'm ever going to run zone coverage again. We go back in zone once, and that happens. This is entirely on Chris Abrams' drain. He was supposed to cover the deep part of the field inside the numbers. Instead, he goes near the line of scrimmage. He completely missed his zone. That is entirely on him. 3rd and 5, Genty does not get the first down, wrapped up by Junior Colson. We would elect to punt the ball. Safe to say, not a very good opening 3.5 minutes of the third quarter for us as Harvey breaks a tackle. Keep going, please. It's a loss of around 12 or maybe 13 yards on a rushing play. Jeffrey Bassa, the one who finishes him off. And instead of a 3rd and short, it's now 3rd and quite long. Hennigan, the second-year quarterback out of the University of Memphis, looks to throw it, looks downfield, he's got the first. I feel like this team at this point is intentionally finding ways to shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, this is a really hard watch. Chris Abrams' drain misses his zone. Following possession, unable to take advantage of the 13-yard loss, and the Chargers seem to really be building off of it. Nice play there by Bryson Nesbitt. Now at the 38, 2nd and 10, Hennigan looks to throw it, rolls out to the right, under pressure, off his back foot to the opposite side of the field. It's a gain of 21 for Palmer. Seth Hennigan does not really look like a backup. Part of it is because he's played quite well, and the other part of it is because our defense is letting him play this well. Play action, wide open, inside the 5 to the 1. We are getting torched by an undrafted backup. I feel like that's just the perfect state of where our defense is. I mean, this is a train wreck. Fake pitch over to the running back. That's J.K. Dobbins, who's in for a score, and the Chargers add to the lead. It's 28-10. Things really are falling off the rails for us really quick. This could get ugly, and I'm not just talking about this game. Nix on 3rd down, scrambles for the first, has more room, and is wrapped up out of bounds by Junior Colson. Nice run there by Bo Nix, keeping the chains moving. Down by 18, we've really got to try to move fast. There has to be a sense of urgency. We've got to get something going here offensively. We don't want to necessarily go away from the run because it's really worked. And look who is injured on the field. Marvin Mims. Not ideal. So now our best player is hurt, as if this couldn't get any worse. Cooper Kupp with it. He gets it to around the 14-yard line. As for Marvin Mims, broken collarbone. Unlike last week, this is not a one-week injury. That could sideline him for the rest of the year. And for those stat watching, no, Marvin Mims does not have 1,000 yards yet. So for a 3rd straight year, he might not hit the threshold. Through 3, 28-10. I don't think that third quarter could have gone any worse. Defense looked bad. Offense looked bad. Marvin Mims break his collarbone. Can we please hit the restart button, at least on this quarter? not even just the game, just the second half. Genty loses yardage on 3rd and 1. We might as well go for it here on 4th and 3. We're already this close. A field goal makes it a 2-score game, but we're in the red zone. As that one is caught, and it is a first down for Tez Johnson. That was a close call, but we do convert, keeping the chains moving. At the 2, Ashton Genty is in for a touchdown. A good end to what was otherwise a not-so-good drive. Even though we scored a touchdown there, Marvin Mims getting hurt is absolutely the bigger story. He has been so valuable for our offense this year, and the fact that he might be out the remainder of the season really hurts. It's a run with Stevenson. He loses 2. P.J. Ojulari, who continues to be quiet through his first now 4 games as a Bronco, makes a really nice play there. 2nd and 12, Hennigan looks to throw it, rolls out, has an open man, it's Ramondre Stevenson, gets by Wright, gets by Moss, and is decked by Surtain. We've really highlighted the year that Colin Wright has had, and he was awesome early in the year, but I feel like he has regressed quite a bit. He has hit the rookie wall, if you will. Nick Benito with a nice play there on the read option, and what otherwise has been a quiet episode for him. 2nd and 12 now, they'll go back to the ground. Ramondre Stevenson annihilates Marvin Grant, who's also not playing all that well over the last couple of weeks, and he gets it to the 35. Even when we push the other team behind the sticks, they find ways to still get easy first downs. Ladd McConkey drops it. We have a flag on the play, though, and that's going to be a holding call. And this could actually be a really big deal because it could push the Chargers out of field goal range. In the very slim chance we can come back, we have to hold them out of the end zone here. So it's now a 1st and 20. Off the blitz, Hennigan is sacked. Jeffrey Bussa brings him down, and it's now 2nd down and 28. Make it a 3rd and 16. They are certainly not in field goal range. We've got to make sure they don't get the first down, so we're going to put 7 guys in coverage, but we also want to send some pressure. Up the middle, broken up. Not a good throw. That could have been intercepted by Bussa. The Chargers would elect to punt it. And I guess the game's not over. I mean, we're down by 10. We still need a lot to happen, and we have to do it without our best offensive player in around 5 minutes of work. Short throw is caught. Tez Johnson, who's had a really good game, gets it to the 31. 8 catches for 101 yards for Tez Johnson, and he's going to be the go-to guy right now with Marvin Mims out of the lineup. Troy Franklin brings it to the 47. Bo Nix continuing what's been an okay game for him. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been good either. As that one is caught short by Tez Johnson. He's wrapped up by Ricardo Hallman. No huddle. Have to go for it, obviously, here on 4th and 4 with 3.5 minutes left. As Nix looks to throw it, he'll go short. Again, it's Tez Johnson, first down, and he's out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 19 of 29. Solid day in terms of overall efficiency for Nix, but he hasn't elevated the offense to what we would have needed in order to have a realistic shot of winning. Under pressure on 3rd and 2, he's going to throw it away. There's a flag, and this one is going to be a holding against the offense. Chargers have a decision to make. As a defense, would you rather a 3rd and 12 or a 4th and 2? They're going to decline the penalty, and we're going to take the points here, make it a 1-score game. It's a 37-yard try for Big Nuts Lutz. His kick is good. So we're down by 8, and now we've got to get the ball back. I am not going to go for the onside kick. Not so much because I trust the defense, but if the Chargers get the onside kick, they're only a first down or 2 away from field goal range, which ices the game. So I'd rather pin them back deep at like the 30. Problem is, look at R.J. Harvey all the way down the field. He gets into the 32-yard line. So it's basically as if they got the onside kick and some extra yardage with it. Great. So now the Chargers are firmly in field goal range. 2nd and 8. Hennigan lobs it up, and it's caught by Nesbitt. That was not the throw to make. That was dangerous. Could have been picked off, but Nesbitt gets the first down. I don't know why the Chargers keep throwing the ball here. You have a backup quarterback in the game. You have 3 really good running backs. Why are they throwing the ball? Hennigan throws it away. That'll stop the clock. Now it's a 3rd and 10. He's going to throw it again for God knows what reason and is sacked on the play by Jonathan Cooper. So the Broncos are going to use a timeout. That'll bring out the field goal unit. It is a 36-yarder. Gotta miss here. But unfortunately, the kick is good. It's a 2-score lead. So now the blueprint looks like we have to score, get an onside kick, and then score again. Slim but I guess possible. At the 30, up the middle, Cooper Kupp to the 47. With the injury to Marvin Mims, we're really going to be relying on Cooper Kupp to be a consistent pass catcher for us. Obviously, we know we're going to need Tez Johnson and Troy Franklin to step up, but of course Kupp as well. Looking for the sidelines, nice throw and catch to the 35. Tez continuing one of the best games of his career, and if Bo Nix didn't miss that launch throw earlier, he would probably have over 200 yards right now. 4th and 10, got to go for it. It's broken up by Day and Henley, and that'll do it for good. The Denver Broncos lose again from 4-1, fighting for the top seed in the AFC on the top of the world to now firmly out of the playoff picture and grasping for straws on what has become a disaster of a season. We have lost 5 in a row, 6 of our last 7. There's not a whole lot to look at positively. This wasn't even really that good of the game for the Chargers because their starting quarterback suffered a pretty long-term injury. Bo Nix, again, was not great, but not bad. He was outplayed by Justin Herbert in the first half, and then Seth Hennigan in the second half, who was outstanding. We couldn't stop him. Genty got the ball 26 times. He was great in the first half, and then pretty non-existent in the second. Tez Johnson played really well, 11 for 138. And again, we're going to have to really rely on him with Marvin Mims out for the foreseeable future. The offensive line was suspect. The defense was suspect. The pass rush was suspect. The coverage was suspect. Really, other than Tez Johnson and then Ashton Genty in the first half, there weren't a lot of positives today. Marvin Mims' broken collarbone will hold him out for the rest of the regular season, which is really unfortunate because he's been so good this year. He's developed into such a good player. That's his 3rd straight year being just shy of 1,000 yards. He was supposed to completely dismantle that mark. I thought he was going to get 1,500 yards. He's now missed 10 games over the last 2 years. That'll certainly be brought up when talking about a potential contract extension. He's missed a lot of time over the last couple of years, but when he's been on the field, he's been outstanding. Here are your scores across the league in Week 12. As for the players of the week, we've got Michael Penix, Josh Allen, AJ Terrell, and Marlowe Wax. We have made it to our bye week. Thank God. Obviously, we're not in the playoff picture. We are currently 2 games out of the 7th seed, and we would also have to pass like 6 teams in order to get there. Our schedule gets a little easier here at the end of the year. We have played a brutally hard stretch of games, but you got to beat good teams in order to prove yourself as one. What I noticed during our 5-game losing streak is look at the points we've scored. 21, 20, 20, 21, and 20. Very consistent and very below average. The defense has not allowed less than that once. If our defense played the way it did earlier in the year, we'd be winning those games. But the offense has been consistently below average, and the defense has been consistently below average. And obviously, that's not good enough. When you have, say, the 22nd best offense in the NFL and the 22nd best defense, your team is going to be roughly the 22nd best team in the league. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Micah Parsons, and Max Crosby win the players of the week, as that sets us up with the Las Vegas Raiders. We are now the 13th seed in the AFC. One of the 3 teams below us is the Raiders, but even they're playing well. They started the year 0-5, but have won 5 of their last 7 games. They're in the complete opposite direction that we are. We have to win that game, though, to essentially keep our season alive, if it even has a chance of being resurrected. Along with that, we've got a prospect profile in the next episode. We'll be going over the offensive and defensive linemen in this year's class. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode, despite the results of the games. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Broncos country, let's cry.